Welcome to Derm Dumber, a podcast about all things dermatology, skincare, and whatever else catches our attention. We're a husband and wife. One of us is a dermatologist.
And one is not.
Oh, and by the way, this is a podcast, not a medical appointment. It is for entertainment and general informational purposes only, and should not be considered medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Okay, let's get into it. I know we have a lot to talk about early because we have some follow-up stuff from last week's episode. And obviously we need to lead here with the number one, most interesting thing that we've ever talked about, going all the way back to our first episode, and that is the sperm maxing races, which took place last week, and you have all of the details.
Sure. It actually happened yesterday.
Oh.
You can still watch it on YouTube if you would like.
Got it.
So
yeah, all right.
Very interesting arrangement here with this. It ultimately pitted Germany versus Australia in this race.
Yeah, got it.
And they spent a lot of time talking about the two contestants in terms of what they did to try to, optimize their sperm. So one of them was kind of more of this biohacker type of guy, took all these different types of peptides. And then the other guy was more of just, I try to live healthy, be happy. That was the Australian guy. The biohacker guy was the German guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I like it. The stereotypes seem to be fitting here with these countries.
Yeah.
The laid-back Aussie fellow,
mm-hmm.
just trying to live a good life.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardcore German engineer trying to figure out how to
optimize his body.
His for every cell in his body. Okay, go ahead. I love it.
Yeah.
The stage is set.
So, they had some announcers, talking about this, really tried to make it like a sporting event. And then the event, which, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Oh, it wasn't a very large obstacle course.
Super short, but, they had the sperm tagged. So they really look like sperm in this little race course that they were on. And the Australian won it by a very good margin.
Wow.
So the whole just be happy and as healthy as possible seemed to win out on this one.
That's the takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry about maximizing your sperm. Got it. Well, all right. So I think is this the first?
The first,
annual?
I think, of many
They will be doing
races. This wasn't the final, as far as I understand. But I got to also say, these people do not do a very good job of communicating what is next, when things are.
Oh, shocking.
It's not super clear because I think it's in the fall sometime. These are just the heats to get to the people who will ultimately be competing for the $100,000 prize.
Oh, so this was just the first stage.
As far as I can tell.
Of this perhaps longer race to find the best sperm.
So.
All right.
Yeah, we might be putting sperm maxing to bed.
Yeah, I might be fine with that. This has been how many episodes that this topic has come up, but shame on us for even bringing it up. But, how do you read something like that and not just want to
We had to go
into it? And, the curiosity was piqued and we're powerless against it. Okay. And then a couple of other things from last week's episode where we talked about some technology. There was a necklace that was new to you. You were wearing, and you just got back from the beach. You went on your annual family, extended, your immediate family vacation to the beach, and you were going to be trying out this necklace the whole time. How did you feel? How did it perform?
Yeah, I really liked it. Again, I think it looks great, and the information that it gave through the app is pretty useful. I liked how you get these alerts, basically, that tell you what the UV is going to be for the day in the morning, so you can kind of prep and be aware. But then when you open the app, it tries to predict for you things like how long you would need to be out to get optimal vitamin D based on your skin type. So you fill out all this information when you're setting up the app. like your skin type, how quickly you burn, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a day-to-day basis, you put in like what you're wearing. So you can choose like, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, or I'm completely covered. You can put in how many times and when you put on sunscreen, how aggressive you are with the sunscreen. And then it tries to tell you like how long you need to be out based on where you are to get vitamin D. So I think that's kind of like the most useful piece of information out of this app.
For those who just want to get their vitamin D from the sun or aren't sure about where it comes from in their diet for the day, that's a good feature. All right. Oh, by the way, this thing was called the Gem.
The Gem by this company called the 90.
Okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure in case people were wondering.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned it last week, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then, it also tracks how much time you are out and when the peak time is going to be during the day when you'd want to be most careful. And it also predicts how long it would take for you to burn in the current conditions.
Got it.
So I liked it. One thing I do wish was that you could see like previous days. I don't think that's possible in the app to like see, how you did yesterday compared to today or whatever. I think
like look at your week's worth of exposure.
Yeah, it's just like your day. But I really like it. I'm gonna
there you go. I'm sure
keep using it.
I'm sure there'll be improvements.
Yeah, I mean it's a brand new company.
Do they just have the one necklace?
As far as I know, the one necklace, I mean, it comes in another color, but just the one product.
You have the one that looks like an onyx circle inside of a gold frame.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there you
give
go.
it a look-see.
Yeah. You put it to work. You got a week's worth of data, but ultimately you only have 1 day's worth of data because you only get the day's worth.
It's just for the day, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Look, right now I'm looking at it. We're at the peak for today for us here in Arizona is going to be 11 UV index.
And 11.
Extreme.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it is summer in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Good.
All right. Well, yeah, it's brutal out here. And now the monsoon season's kicked in. It's humidity. It's a whole thing. It's just
oh my God, do not get him started.
Two types of misery going on right now. Let this old man complain about the weather. It's what I'm best at.
Oh my God. Okay.
Does anybody want to start a podcast about weather talk? Because I'm gonna look into that.
Weather and birds.
Yeah, weather and birds. Yes. As you get older, you get into birds.
Peak.
Yeah,
it'll be peak.
That's peak middle-aged man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. Though.
Yes. Okay. The other thing. Well, go ahead. I was gonna bring up.
Oh yes, do it.
The other thing that we talked about last week, and this is just funny. It's not necessarily anything to do with skin. You brought this up in the context of like seeing them in the office with patients, but those Meta glasses. And this literally came to my attention about an hour or two before we started recording this. About the title of the article is "The Backlash is so strong that people with quote pervert glasses unquote are afraid to use them in public." And it's just talking about Meta's camera-equipped AI glasses and how they're so divisive that some people and early adopters and people who are wearing them are just starting to leave them at home because there's a backlash against them. And I understand why. They're pervy and look creepy. And I guess influencers, mostly men, have been using these glasses to inconspicuously and often non-consensually record footage of themselves doing things like approaching women in bars and hitting on them and just like posting how those, interactions go. And it's creeping a lot of people out. So there's become, and I think rightfully so, a lot of backlash against these things.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg thinks they're the future, but that dude's been wrong a lot.
Yeah, I think he's wrong on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's the whole like more content, share your life.
Yeah.
But I think there's a line that people
will immediately cross.
Don't want.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. I'm glad.
Anyways, so yeah, that's funny. That was, I didn't intend to talk any more about those glasses unless there was a reason to, but that just popped up and I thought, oh, that's good. We're heading the right direction if that article is accurate. So, Anyways, all right. That was a quick recap of some things that happened in the last week that pertain to what we talked about last week, which is just funny the way it all lined up like that. So anyways, what...
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the fact that I was on vacation last week at the beach.
Yeah, I couldn't go. Normally I go to this, but I couldn't go. And we have pets. It's a whole thing. Don't need the details of that. But anyways, you were there with your family, sisters, dad,
and
all the regulars.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, it's the first time I've gone on this vacation since having melanoma. And, it didn't really change a whole lot for me in terms of how I protect myself in the sun because I've been doing that forever. And, we've talked about it before. Basically, I'm just covered. But I will say it was a lot more kind of triggering to see what other people were doing on the beach. So before, when I would be out, I'd be just kind of like, job security. These people are not smart.
Right. You'll see them in a couple years when they're in the office.
Yeah.
Getting all their spots cut off and frozen off.
Yeah. But, this time it was, there was that, of course, but then just also like, I can't believe the risk these people are putting themselves,
Right.
through. There was this one woman who was like right next to us. She had lighter skin than me.
Whoa. Is that possible?
Hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm just like, she's got nothing on. A swimsuit, but,
I get it.
and maybe sunscreen. I don't know, but like, it was so hot there. And I'm just like literally watching her skin get redder and redder over like a short period of time.
Right.
Didn't see her out anymore after that. So I don't know what, happened to her, but
she got it all that she needed for the week in one day.
Yeah. She might have been one of those people that, getting blisters and, can't leave the house. I don't know. But kind of just frustrating. Also, like even, with my family who obviously I hound them a lot about being protected and they see me, but still get sunburned. So.
Nice. Well, there you go. It's almost as if, how old was this woman that you were, just sort of making a mental note about? Probably middle age?
Yeah. Well, probably a little younger, 30s to 40s, right. Maybe.
So I'm saying like almost acted the way you used to act.
Yeah. Not in my.
Well, okay. Maybe
40s.
not. No, you were smarter in your 30s and 40s about sun protection.
Yeah.
But yeah, you weren't very smart in your teens and 20s.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I'm just saying it's hard to,
give them a hard time.
Yeah, give people a hard time because that's what you were doing. Exactly. And
no, she should have known better. Just like my family members should know better as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just an interesting experience. I also had a few people respond to some of the melanoma content that I'd posted over the past week, kind of saying things like, like basically that I'm like overreacting about being worried about recurrence and, worried about a new melanoma and all of these things. And
they're like, hey, you had it, you caught it, you're good now.
Right.
Stop worrying about it.
Basically. Yeah. So people will, message me these things or make comments on content sometimes. And there was like a handful of those. So I just thought, that's like, you don't want to live your life in fear. I'm not saying that, but it's also not zero risk of these things. So
once you've had it, do you need to be more vigilant, or is there a reason to think it'll?
Yeah. Even with like how early mine was, so I had stage 1A, which is just like a step up from stage 0, which stage 0 is essentially no risk of it coming back, no risk of recurrence. And it can't metastasize because it hasn't gone deep enough to get any access to blood vessels. 1A is a step above that. It's still very low risk, but the chance of recurrence is, 2 to 5%. But the chance of getting another melanoma is up to 10%.
Oh.
So, they're not huge numbers, but they're also not zero numbers.
Right.
And people will also message me who've had greater stage melanoma and be like, oh, you just still have to, you're going to be fine. That's a lot of it. You're going to be fine.
Oh.
And I just don't think that's the right way of looking at it either.
Well, okay.
I don't know how
Devil's
to go on this
advocate,
tangent,
were
but-
they saying it in a way of like, hey, you're going to be fine? Or
I
were they
mean,
literally
maybe,
mean
but-
like, hey, stop talking about this?
Is that also not kind of dismissive though? And like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to, infer tone.
yeah.
So, but anyways. All
Maybe
right.
I was taking it the wrong way, but it just all that, like, I got a couple of those comments while I'm watching everyone just like roast themselves, and maybe it hit harder.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway.
And we'll see. All right. Well, anyways, just be vigilant, especially if you've had it. That's the takeaway there.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to get your skin checked regularly, stay on top of things, be safe. I mean, yeah.
All right. It's easy enough. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. Moving on. Something that caught my attention this week, because while you were away enjoying the beach and hanging out in the sun with your family, I was home and I was researching things to talk about this week. But something that caught my attention that I forwarded to you because I thought this was right up your alley was this article in, what was the website? I've already forgotten it. What site was it on? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyways, it was a legit website, and it was kind of a meta study, right? Where they looked at all these different studies and they said what? I'll let you take over.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm just going to pull up the actual
the actual
article. Yeah. So it was called Clinical Implications of Skincare, Lessons from Placebo-Controlled Dermatology Trials.
Okay. Let's keep it dumb.
Oh, okay. What do those things mean?
Well, I know what they mean.
Okay.
But no, like, let's just, this can get a little.
Well, I was just saying the
detailed.
name, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
will
Okay.
we will put the link in the show notes. How about that?
Yes, got it.
Okay.
People can check it out.
Yeah, so it was in a journal called Skin Health and Disease. So that's all I'm going to say about that part. But yeah, so the interesting thing about this was that in studies related to dermatology, obviously that's what we're going to talk about, there are...
Slow down. Hold on now. You're already lost me.
Okay. Oh my God.
All right. So, yes.
There'll be comparisons of like certain topical treatments to treat a certain condition compared with what we call the vehicle, right? So, for example, let's say you're studying an acne drug, and that is one of, you mentioned this is a meta study. So what that means is the authors looked for all these studies where certain conditions were investigated using a topical drug intervention versus a vehicle in these randomized trials. So they looked for studies related to acne, rosacea, actinic keratoses, melasma, and post-inflammatory pigment alteration. I think you know what most of these things are, but do you remember what actinic keratoses are?
No.
Those are precancers, just to cover that. And then melasma is pigment that we can get. I think we've talked about that before, from hormones, primarily in women. And then post-inflammatory pigment alteration is just when you have pigment that can happen after trauma, which certain people are more prone to, that isn't permanent, but can be lasting over like years.
Okay.
So they were looking at studies related to these conditions where there was a treatment involved, and then there was a control group that wasn't using the treatment. And basically, the point of this was to highlight, I guess the authors, had read enough studies that they realized that, hey, when you're reading these studies, you will see that sometimes the control arm also has good improvement in these conditions. So they wanted to look on a larger scale and pool all this data from multiple studies together.
Right.
So, basically, again, highlighting the benefit that these basic interventions were giving in these conditions, even without being treated.
Got it.
Yeah. So I don't want to go into like too much detail, but I think it's kind of interesting for people to kind of hear some of the numbers related to one condition, because they were all very similar, but you can kind of get an idea, even if I just kind of talk about one. So there were these two trials done for acne. They encompassed 2,800 patients, so a good number of people. It was a phase 3 trial, which is basically trying to, on a larger scale, demonstrate benefit of a drug. This was for something called trifarotene, which is a topical retinoid used for acne that is now marketed under the name Acleef.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Yes.
Acne and relief. That's Acleef.
Acleef.
It's like how they come up with these names, but really a drug rep told me that at some point when it came out.
Okay. Good for them. Marketing killed it on that one.
Yeah, that's actually a decent one. Some of the names are crazy.
Good job, marketing department.
So they were looking at facial acne and trunk acne on the body versus controlled subjects who weren't getting the treatment. And so looking at just the face, when they had a observer, so this would be usually like a doctor involved in the study who doesn't know whether you've done the treatment or just the vehicle, they look at the person and determine, okay, what % of improvement has there been? And so in the control group, there was 19 and 25% improvement. Remember, there's 2 studies. So one of the studies was 19%. The other one was 25%. And then in the treatment group, it was 29 versus 42. So those are not that big of differences, right? 19 and 25 in the vehicle, 29 and 42 in the treatment. So these people who just did the vehicle and basic cleansing their skin had a significant amount of improvement. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting to highlight that those numbers are close. And again, that is the case with a lot of studies where you're using, you're comparing to like this control group. So the other studies that they did looked at using sunscreen with topical chemotherapy cream, which I think we've maybe talked about before, for AKs, precancers.
I remember talking about that. Yep.
So in the control group, they just use sunscreen. And in the active group, they use sunscreen and the fluorouracil. And in the controls, they had 24% reduction in AKs versus 73 in the treatment group. Obviously, 73% is better.
Yeah.
But 24% is not nothing.
Right.
Just by using sunscreen diligently. And I think that's the other thing that people have to realize with this is that when you're in a study, you're way more likely to be good at the routine you're given.
Right, because you've been given a job.
You've been coached about like how to do it. Right. How long to maybe clean your face, how much product to maybe put on. Often they have to keep journals. So they're definitely washing their face twice a day, using the sunscreen in the morning. So it's just that diligence maybe playing, a huge role there. But also with some of these conditions, acne, for example, the skin barrier, it really matters that that's healthy and hydrated. And so, just taking the time to do that can improve your acne, even without a treatment. So, similar findings with melasma and sunscreen. And by the way, melasma is like often a very hard to treat condition. And people really, really struggle with it, and it can be like very detrimental to people's mental health.
Sure.
And, in the studies that these guys discovered, they were just cleansing twice a day and using sunscreen. And then the treatment group had something called hydroquinone, which is a prescription topical, and it was 66% improvement in the control group.
Wow, right.
95% in the treatment group, but 66%, that is a lot. So without going into the numbers, the same was true of rosacea in the control group that just used moisturizer and sunscreen. Also in the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation group, just moisturizer, cleansing, and sunscreen. So basic care goes a long way.
Yeah, that was the takeaway, is that you can get good results and possibly even the results you're after by just doing basic care, which is cleansing twice a day, moisturizing, and wearing sunscreen. Okay. It's almost as if you dermatologists have been preaching that forever. Now you got the data to back it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely useful information. But again, also people, they want the fast. Yeah. They want the fast fix.
Yeah.
They
hey,
fall off the usage.
I neglected doing this stuff for most of my life. And now you're telling me I just have to start doing that stuff and I'll start to see improvement?
Right.
No. Give me something now.
Right. Or you get bored and you don't want to use that anymore and you change products or you want to add something in the mix that causes a problem. It's never ending.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You don't have that problem because...
Yeah. Well, I never did much of anything. So I'm consistently doing virtually nothing. There you go. That's another way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do much.
Yeah. And then the other study or other article you sent me was about...
oh, yes. I was very busy.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of good stuff.
Very diligent little worker this week while
That's right.
I was gone.
Yep. Yeah, I sent you something that caught my eye because it was interesting about AI. And obviously, it's not like just, hey, AI is being used in skincare, because of course it is. AI is in everything now. That's not the interesting part. Tell me why this is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, so what it was talking about was that L'Oreal has used AI to try to repurpose their ingredients in their skincare products to be used in hair care products.
Okay.
So, and I don't obviously know what are these prompts that you...
Right.
I mean, how they got there, but essentially they used AI to discover that putting collagen, which is in a lot of the L'Oreal facial products, which again acts as just like a moisturizer, people, doesn't help your collagen. We've talked about that before too. But putting that in the shampoo apparently improves hair fullness.
Ooh.
Fullness and lift. And so I guess they're, mining via AI what they can use in other, particularly they're looking for things to add to their hair care range, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm sure other companies are doing this.
Sure.
Too. And I'm sure more products will come about this. My question is do we need, obviously if it's an advance,
right,
great. But is this just going to contribute to more and more products that the consumer really doesn't need?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be mostly that. Yeah. And then maybe some of the former, actually products you need.
Yeah. Or if it's a life-changing thing, great. But just some little tweak. I don't know. How different is this shampoo? I have my doubts.
Yeah. But that's not how the world works. They will market it as the newest, latest, volumizing. Yeah. And then people will fall for it and they'll make $1 million. Mm-hmm. And by $1 million, I mean hundreds of millions.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. Be the first to get there.
This wasn't, I don't know how I got to this. You sent me that article, and then I also somehow stumbled upon this category of products too, which kind of goes along with this whole something you don't need, functional toothpaste.
What?
Yeah. So...
Oh, because they're cashing in on the functional medicine trend?
Well, yes, I guess, but also functional foods, and these are things where they just try to add, yes, I guess, ingredients that are more in that functional wellness space. So this toothpaste is supposed to, have, there's a morning one and an evening one. It's supposed to optimize your circadian health.
No.
Because the night ones have magnesium in them.
Oh my God.
And then the morning one has B12. The whole thing is crazy. I guess my question, I have a lot of questions about this. How much are you actually absorbing of this? How can that be controlled? And I've actually had 2 patients now with really hard to control acne.
Right.
That I have tested their B12 levels because of conversations that we've had that then started to make me suspicious, because B12, if it is extremely high, can cause acne. And I've had 2 patients now, one that was doing a lot of the Celsius drinks.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all these drinks now that the teens,
yep,
or anyone is ingesting that have all these extra things in it. And so I think we have to start wondering, if you're taking all these supplements and you're doing all these functional foods and drinks that have all these additional, minerals and nutrients, what kind of accumulation are you getting and what problems are you going to have?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because those are all things that are typically good for you and your body needs. But then when you're just doing them in, insane amounts, because it just happens to be in a drink that you grabbed while you were thirsty.
Right.
Yeah, your levels are going to go off the charts for all kinds of stuff. And then your body will react with, in this case, acne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Well, there you go, people. Read the labels. Understand what's in it.
Yeah. So
or try to understand what's in it. And if you don't understand, ask a professional.
Right. And the B12 or the functional toothpaste,
Yeah, that seems like a stretch. Like we've pretty much mastered toothpaste. Like
I don't think we have.
Good mental health.
I think there's like a whole market of where there's a whole white space, I think, that in the toothpaste world that is like looking to get exploited, according to this article.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, as a species, we've got good toothpaste out there.
Oh, okay.
We're good. We've mastered it. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason to start adding protein paste to your teeth or whatever they do. Like,
I think you just created a new product. I don't know about protein toothpaste.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just saying that's what they seem to add to everything now.
Creatine toothpaste.
Yeah. So, not needed. So, all right. Well,
what else we got?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
I think that sums up, I think, what caught our attention this week. Since we're cranking these out on a weekly basis, that's the best we can do.
Okay.
Is what happened that week and try to stay topical. Let's get into a couple of listener questions. And number one today is, are we sure that red light is okay and not causing melanoma? And I think this question comes from someone traumatized by having melanoma. Is that what they're saying here? Or are they?
Yeah, I think they're saying that they were traumatized by having melanoma.
All right. Well,
and they want to be sure that their red light is okay.
Okay. Sorry, listener, if I messed up your question, but here's your answer.
Yeah. So the answer is that I don't think that there is a problem with the data that we have that should give you concern about increased melanoma risk. I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot of data out there.
Yeah, these red light products just came out of nowhere, it seems.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden, red light is everywhere.
Yeah.
Buy this device, sit in this bed, go get this thing, put it on this part of your body, now put it everywhere. There's people shoving red light onto every inch of their skin. But okay, so you're saying not a lot of data right now on these things, but what we do know
seems like it's fine. There have been some studies primarily on like cell lines from animals related to certain malignancies that were reassuring essentially that red light at, kind of normal power would be fine, did not demonstrate any problems, did not seem to increase activity of any malignant cells. There was a study, again, this was also on a melanoma cell line. So there was a study with red light that was like very, very high power.
Higher than you would typically use.
Yeah, higher than you're going to get like in a device that a consumer is going to use with some possible effect on tumor growth. So I think there have also been studies, though, that showed that there was no increase in melanoma risk in healthy tissue. So I think we could feel fairly good about the fact that red light is not going to induce a melanoma in normal skin.
Right.
Based on the information we have.
Okay.
I would probably, out of an abundance of caution, since there was that one study I mentioned where melanoma at high power red light melanoma cell lines did show some increased activity, I probably wouldn't treat a site where I had melanoma.
Got it.
With the red light, just like out of an abundance of.
Even though the data that suggests there could be a problem isn't very good, or it's at such an insane level that you're not going to achieve that at home anyways. But just
probably not.
You want to feel better about it?
Yeah.
Skip putting light on that part. I mean, we have red light stuff all the time. You use it.
Yeah, I use it, and I still will use my red light face mask. I mean, my melanoma was on my leg. I'm not going to wrap my leg in my mask or expose that. But actually, some of the studies actually show, benefit to tumor cells by like helping them, making them less proliferative, for example. So I don't really want to get too much into that part because I think the question is it harmful? And I think, again, no to healthy tissue. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't expose your melanoma excision site to it.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hope that helps give you a better guide to making your decision on choosing your red light. Let's move on to the next question. This one, and I'll just read it as it was typed. All my usual skincare products or something else keeps turning my face bright red. A dermatologist ruled out lupus and rosacea. Even strangers express concern about my, quote, sunburn. I switched to recommended gentle cleansers and still red. Tried redness-reducing products, still red. It's my entire face all the way to my hairline, which is what made me think it's a product I'm using. I miss my old skin. Any suggestions? Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they did all the things you probably would have done too, right? Rule out.
Well, yeah, there's other things that you would want to rule out too. And I don't know how they ruled these things out. Like, did they do a biopsy, for example? And, knowing the results of that could be, helpful and lead you down certain paths. The person says that they think it could be a product they're using, and that's definitely a possibility.
It says they switched, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you switch. So the thing is that you can use a product, with certain ingredients for many, many years, never have a problem, and then all of a sudden you react to it.
Oh.
So the switching doesn't matter.
Stupid body
and immune system changing.
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing. And then also, just because you switch, it doesn't mean that you didn't switch to something else that you're sensitive to. Or, even if you kind of take the time to look and compare two products and be sure there's no ingredient that looks the same. Sometimes companies use different names for different ingredients. So it's very hard.
Oh, to try to keep track.
Tease all that out.
Of what you've already ruled out.
Yeah. So there's certain brands that dermatologists like to recommend that are sort of made in this space with these, contact allergy is what we're talking about in mind. The most, readily available one is something like Vanna Cream. And there's another one called, I think it's called Cleure, Cleure. And then there's a line called Vetted, which is a dermatologist created line with minimal allergens in it. But again, still, that's not 100% that you won't be allergic to something in one of those. And how we look for this is with something called patch testing, where we test ingredients that are in our personal care products.
Right.
And that's really kind of the best way to try to figure this out so that you can know what to avoid.
And derms do this? Dermatologists or allergists?
Both specialties can do this.
Okay.
Generally, dermatologists do more advanced testing in this area. So there's a simple test called the True test where they test, I think it's 18 to 20 allergens. And then there's really aggressive testing, which is what most dermatologists who are trained to do this will do, where it's 80 to 100 allergens are tested for. The test is done the same no matter what you do. So, and it's kind of a pain in the butt because you basically have to get these patches taped to your back.
Mm-hmm.
We usually do that on a Monday, take the patches off on a Wednesday, do the reading on a Friday, and the whole time you can't get your back wet.
Oof.
So if you're going to get it done, it's kind of get all the information.
Sure.
With the more aggressive testing. So that could be worthwhile for this person. There's also other things besides lupus and rosacea that can make your face red. So again, without kind of seeing it, knowing what was done, biopsy results, hard to say, but sometimes things like seborrheic dermatitis could make a face red. An environmental contact allergen sometimes can make face red. So you could actually get evaluation by a regular allergist for environmental allergies, see if that's related.
Your fabric on your bed.
Yeah, so that would be more like patch testing. But yeah, all of these things. But there's environmental, if you're outside and, you have something that you're sensitive to and it hits your face, that can sometimes cause you to have.
Stepping outside in Arizona in the summer. It's like an oven. It's like pointing a hairdryer at your face.
Yeah.
On full blast. That'll turn you red.
Yeah. So sun damage, I will sometimes have people who it's hard to tell, is that rosacea or is it sun damage? We're starting to get pre-cancers, early things like that.
So they neglect to tell you that they just got back from the Bahamas.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's just, I don't know, those are just all I can think of. I know there's more things that I'm not coming up with off the top of my head. Yeah. But I think the question is really about, is going to be a product? And that's kind of my thoughts on how you would go further to look into that. Oh, I guess another thing that might be helpful is that even if it is a product that you're coming into contact with, like let's say it's your lotion, people will think like, oh, I just didn't use it for a day or two. If that was it, I should be fine. Is that what you'd think? Like if it was like, let's say you were allergic to like your lotion or a face wash, how long would you think it would take for you to stop using it for the rash to go away?
Oh, wait. If I determined that a product I have that I was using was causing a reaction, like face redness, I would stop using it.
Right. But I mean, I'm saying like if you were suspicious of a product, how long would you think it would take?
It wasn't determined that it was.
Right. You're trying to figure this out.
I was just trying to rule it out myself. Oh, gosh. Yeah. No, I don't know. I would probably be for like a day or two, but I guess you're probably about to say no.
6 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
It could take up to 6 weeks of not using it. So again, where it gets really hard to figure this out on your own.
Yeah. So you've got to set aside a year to rule out all of your products, 6 weeks at a time for each one. Yeah. Okay. There you go, people. You've got a project. You just want to do this at home. DIY your own allergen test. There you go. Pick a product, stop using it for 6 weeks, then pick another one. Oh, God. All right. Well, or you just go to your doctor and subject yourself to
patch testing.
That sounds fun. Okay. One final question. This will be a quick one because this is kind of funny because I like when they just are like trying to get personal details. This one wants to know, what was your skincare routine when you were a kid, when you were a teenager?
I have a terrible memory. Let me just first of all say that. But, I didn't have like acne, like much acne, I would say. So some things I do remember would be thinking
Stridex and St. Ives?
No, I actually don't. Now, I did use that St. Ives scrub.
Right. Because that was we grew up and I was a kid dude and I didn't know. I don't know skincare. I didn't know anything. I knew.
And you knew that?
Yeah. And I had heard of those products.
Okay. So
maybe probably because the advertising campaigns on the shows that we watched as kids. But
yeah.
Anyways.
I don't remember ever using Stridex, but I did use the St. Ives some, mainly because like I liked the smell, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure that was a huge part of their popularity.
Was it Sea Breeze? There was like this astringent. So an astringent is something that just like dries out your skin.
That was the extent of our acne knowledge at the time.
Right.
You were oily, get dry.
And I think they were advertised in like, these magazines we looked at, like Teen Beat or like...
Ooh. Did you have a subscription to Teen Beat?
I don't remember if I had a subscription, but I know I laid eyes on Teen Beat some.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't know whatever else. I can't think of other ones, but I know there were other magazines too. But anyway.
Sure. I'm sure that was it. Yeah.
So I know I used...
By the way, magazines were things that were made of paper that we used to go and get at the newsstand or the bookstore. And they came out like once a week, once every 2 weeks. I mean, maybe once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month is probably more likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like books, but more periodical.
There's actually like a resurgence of this to some degree.
Magazines coming back?
I mean, I don't know about in the adult space, but there are definitely some magazines targeting teens and tweens coming back, like trying to become relevant again.
Paper form?
Yeah.
Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
That's
so, I mean, I think the argument is like, to try to like have more wholesome, interactive.
Are there any like underground zines coming out? Remember those? Remember you'd get your hands on one of those or some kid would hand you a copy?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Well, what the hell is an underground zine?
Those were like radical, often political,
You were looking at political zines when you were in
they were not.
Teen?
Yeah, sure. I mean, occasionally one would come across my path. All right. We don't need to go into that. Okay, go on.
All right,
Your
so
skincare routine.
Breeze,
I do love a good tangent, but...
Which I have no idea what I was using because that stuff should be outlawed because all it's doing is just like destroying your skin. Same with the St. Ives. I mean, like that's just a physical, exfoliant with those like harsh beads. Like these are things that we now know are not ideal.
Sandpaper in a liquid.
Right. I did love to steal my grandmother's Pond's cold cream.
Oh.
Whenever I was hanging out at her house.
What is that? I've heard of that, or I remember seeing a little jar of that on like every old person's dresser.
Yeah, I think hers was just a moisturizer. I don't know if there were other like
So these were just like
products of
nice
this,
thick
but
lotions
yeah, thick lotions.
from the Pond's brand.
Yeah. What else? I do remember maybe this was like the start of my dermatology
Interests.
interest. And I feel like I maybe read this in a magazine. God, what was the other magazine? 17.
Ooh.
That was another one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love
all the
17.
skincare products had to probably fight to advertise in that one.
Yeah, probably. And there must have been some kind of article about do-it-yourself stuff or something, because I remember making a mask somehow out of crushed up aspirin. So basically making a salicylic treatment for my face, which, salicylic acid is an acne
Okay.
treatment.
So somebody was like, hey, that ingredient's in aspirin.
Yeah.
Let's just...
I guess. So I remember like crushing this up and crushing these pills up.
And then your mom and dad being like, who the hell took all the aspirin?
Yeah.
I have a headache, damn it. Where's...
Yeah.
And then you walk in and your face is pasty white, coated with some kind of...
And I don't remember what it mixed with or anything, but I do remember crushing that for some reason. And again, I didn't even really have acne, so I'm not really sure what was going on with that. But, it sounded cool.
You were influenced.
I was 17 magazine influenced.
That's right. You were influenced by a magazine. Everybody has a story about that, I'm sure. So, all right. Well, fun question. Anything else you can remember doing? Not that any of those things were routines. Your skincare routine was just like, whatever.
Who even knows?
Right.
We didn't
kids,
talk about skincare
Gen
routines.
X kids didn't have skincare routines.
I mean, I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I cared about my hair. I needed my bangs to be really large.
Well, yes.
So
that was the thing.
There were a lot of hairsprays involved.
Yeah. Surely some of that landed on your skin.
Must have.
That was your routine.
I don't remember much about
You created a barrier with Aquanet.
I don't even know that we had Aquanet.
I'm just throwing that out because that was the big one.
I know.
That was the one that put that huge hole in our ozone for so long, wasn't it?
Really? I don't know.
Well, I think it was just that whole class of hairspray canisters. And then they, got rid of the ozone killing products in there, the fluorocarbons, some whatever, yeah. And then the ozone repaired itself, so we're good now. Anyways,
okay.
There you go. We'll end on that note.
Learning.
All right, we're done here. Send us more questions. We'll keep it coming. It's a fun part. And we'll wrap here. Thanks for listening. Best podcast ever. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We promise to get better at this. Whether we actually do depends largely on your willingness to like, subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with your coolest friends. Just kidding. We will take anyone. Cool, uncool, moisturized, unmoisturized. Stay tuned for more skincare talk with a hint of sarcasm.